Welcome to another edition of our treatment of the weekly Sunday school lesson. Today's lesson is entitled Deborah, Prophet and Judge, and it's for October the 27th, 2024. Again, a reminder that this lesson is based on the scripture references in the Radiant Life Adult Sunday School series published by the Assemblies of God. You can order a copy of their Sunday School book by calling 855-642-2011. It's a good Sunday School book. And just so you know, I'm not an employee of the publisher, nor am I being compensated for that endorsement. Judges 4:1-3. And the people of Israel again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord after Ehud died. And the Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor. The commander of the army was Sisera, who lived in Harosheth Hagoyim. Then the people of Israel cried out to the Lord for help, for he had 900 chariots of iron, and he oppressed the people of Israel cruelly for 20 years. Now, the Hebrew word translated evil, ra, can also mean destruction. This word also describes the Israelites' choice between blessings or cursings in their covenant with Yahweh in the Pentateuch. This is so fitting that the word has a double meaning. Destruction follows evil. The entire book of Judges repeatedly follows the cycle of backsliding and then destruction. The Canaanites in today's lesson had such a huge advantage over the people of God with their 900 iron chariots. Judges 4:4-6. Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lebedoth, was judging Israel at that time. She used to sit under the palm of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the hill country of Ephraim, and the people of Israel came up to her for judgment. She went and summoned Barak, the son of Aboniam, from Kadesh Naphtali, and said to him, "Has not the Lord, the God of Israel, commanded you, go gather the men of Mount Tabor, taking 10,000 from the people of Naphtali and the people of Zebulun. And I will draw out Sisera, the general of Jabin's army, to meet you by the river of Gishon with his chariot and his troops, and I will give him into your hand." And Barak said to her, "If you will go with me, I will go. But if you will not go with me, I will not go." And she said, "I will surely go with you. Nevertheless, the road in which you're going will not lead you to your glory, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hand of a woman." Then Deborah rose and went with Barak to Kadesh. Deborah holds a very unique place in the history of judges in Israel. Only Samuel and her are both judges and also called prophets, and gave prophetic utterances. Jabin was the king of Hazor. The name Jabin must have been a dynastic name used in Hazor. Joshua defeated a king at Hazor, also named Jabin, over 100 years prior. These two kings cannot be the same person, and it's also common during that time to call later kings by the same name, so it's obvious that Jabin is actually a dynastic name. Judges 4:10-13. And Barak called out Zebulun and Naphtali to Kadesh, And 10,000 men went up at his heels, and Deborah went up with him. Now Heber the Kenite had separated from the Kenites, the descendants of Habab, the father-in-law of Moses, and had pitched his tent as far away as the oak of Zenonim, which is near Kadesh. When Sisera was told that Barak the son of Boniam had gone up to Mount Tabor, Sisera called out all his chariots, 900 chariots of iron, and all the men that went with him, from Harosheth Hagoyim to the river Kishon. And Deborah said to Barak, Up, for this is the day in which the Lord has given Sisera into your hand. Does not the Lord go out before you? So Barak went down from Mount Tabor, and 10,000 men following him. And the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and all his army before Barak by the edge of the sword. And Sisera got down from his chariot and fled away on foot. And Barak pursued the chariots and the army to Harosheth Hagoyim. And all the army of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword. Not a man was left. God gave the children of Israel the victory. He gave them strength for the fight. And also we found out later that God also had the weather work against Sisera and his men. Judges 4:17 through 20. But Sisera fled on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there was peace between Jabin, the king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael came out to meet Sisera, and said to him, Turn aside, my lord, turn aside to me. Do not be afraid. So he turned aside to her into the tent. And she covered him with a rug. And he said to her, Give me a little water to drink, for I'm thirsty. So she opened a skin of milk and gave him a drink and covered him. And he said to her, Stand at the opening of the tent, and if any man come and ask you, Is anyone here? Say no. But Jael, the wife of Heber, took a tent peg and took a hammer in her hand. Then she went softly to him and drove the peg into his temple until it went down into the ground while he was laying fast asleep from weariness. So he died. And behold, as Barak was pursuing Sisera, Jael went out to meet him and said to him, Come, I will show you the man whom you are seeking. So he went into the tent, and there lay Sisera dead, with a tent peg in his temple. So on that day God subdued Jabin, the king of Canaan, before the people of Israel. And the hand of the people of Israel pressed harder and harder against Jabin, the king of Canaan, until they destroyed Jabin, king of Canaan. At the beginning of the story, it was easy to think that Deborah would be the hero, taking the game from Barak. But Jael is the hero. She lured Sisera into the tent. She gave him milk and a blanket. She waited for him to go to sleep, then she killed him. She became the hero of the story instead of Barak. Judges 5:1 through 3. Then sang Deborah and Barak, the son of Aboniam, on that day, that the leaders took the lead in Israel, that the people offered themselves willingly Bless the Lord. Hear, O kings, give ear, O princes. To the Lord I will sing. I will make melody to the Lord, the God of Israel. 5th verse. The mountains quaked before the Lord, even Sinai before the Lord, the God of Israel. Then down to the 7th verse. The villagers ceased in Israel. They ceased to be until I arose. I, Deborah, arose as a mother in Israel. Here we have another song of praise to God. We need to emulate these examples from the Bible. Sing praises to God at every opportunity. God has been so good to us, and we need to sing His praises. Lift your voice and sing to God. Judges 5 and 12. Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake. Break out in song. Arise, Barak. Lead away your captives, O son of Aboniam. Then down to the 15th verse. The princes of Issachar came with Deborah, and Issachar faithful to Barak, and to the faithful they rushed at his heels. Among the clans of Reuben there were great searchings of heart. 5:31. So may all your enemies perish, O Lord, but your friends be like the sun as he rises in his might. And the land had rest for 40 years. We see there was deliverance in Israel until the next backsliding. Well, friends, thank you for taking the time to listen to us. If you want to get in touch with me, you can call me on my cell phone, 423-355-3859. Contact me by email, donniebryson@gmail.com, or go to our website, www.gospelmailbox.org. Well, good Lord willing, I'll be back with you next weekend.